I just want to get a better handle on the process by which the asset is valued. My understanding is that the entity that owns the asset or that controls the asset, CDEV, has a methodology that is a third party provides a methodology, which valuation is then confirmed by an external auditor. Then the Auditor General, my understanding is the Auditor General's office looks at that valuation, also enlists a third party external auditor to validate that valuation. Then that number is rolled up into the government's balance sheet. Do I have that about right? There's two external valuations, an evaluation by CDEV and an evaluation by the Auditor General?
Yes, let me just sort of say it back to make sure we're saying the same thing. So CDEV has audited financial statements. So a third-party firm audits CDEV's financial statements, including its subsidiaries, which includes the Trans Mountain Corporation. That can be subject to an Auditor General special examination, but is not every year. But it is available to do for that to happen. And so when the financial statements are presented and tabled, they represent that audited third-party audited financial statements, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You mentioned that the Auditor General's office may review that valuation. Could you confirm the last time that it did review that valuation and signed off on it?
Yeah, they signed off this year.
Okay.
And in fact, my colleague was just correcting me that it is every year that the Auditor General signs off.
They do sign off every year. Okay. So I understand. So it should be very unlikely then, I would think, that there would be a surprise write-down in valuation, correct? I mean, if you have two external auditors plus the Auditor General's office plus CDEV, we should be very, very confident that there won't be a surprise write-down in the future, correct?
Yes, there was a significant amount of attention this past year on the financial statements, on all of the financial statements, including the carrying value of this asset.
Okay. My understanding is the government's already written down the goodwill portion of that investment rate, about $1 billion?
Yes.
Okay. So if there is a surprise write-down, what do you think should happen to ensure the integrity of the accounting process along the way? I'm concerned that we're going to be in a situation where something's going to happen and there will be a surprise. I'm trying to understand how we can protect against a surprise for taxpayers. It sounds like we have a robust process. But if there is a surprise valuation, I'm wondering about accountability for the process.
I don't have a comment on that.
Okay. Perhaps, I know you interface with the folks at CDEV very frequently. I think it would be nice to let them know that there's lots of people looking at the valuation. Obviously, as you've understood and mentioned, that it's been highly scrutinized. But if there is a surprise valuation, that there will absolutely be accountability for that. Somebody will have to answer for why the government was holding an asset on its balance sheet for a longer period of time. There are external individuals who have really questioned the valuation with which the government's holding this asset on its balance sheet. I think it would be a very unfortunate circumstance for taxpayers and for the integrity of our entire public accounting system if there was a surprise write-down in the future. So perhaps I might, I'll just leave that there if that's okay. I couldn't help but notice the minister referenced market analysis. I believe she said, if you look at the market analysis, we're very confident that we'll get repaid. I guess the question would be, could you share that market analysis with the committee?
So we have publicly available sources that have been cited even at this committee. There's been, news articles. The fact is that to date, we have been very focused with Trans Mountain on starting the operations of the pipeline. As I think you heard from Mr. Mackey, there's a few
Fair enough.
uncertainties.
I'm gonna run out of time here. So I guess the question is, the minister referenced market analysis that she's seen. I'm asking if you could provide that market analysis that
Sure,
she was
yeah.
relying on to the committee, both public and private information that has flowed to the minister's office in a briefing.
We
note.
can
You can
follow up.
pretend like
Yeah.
we freedom of information requested, and you can redact whatever you like. But that would be very helpful if the minister is going to reference those materials. The second and final question would be, is there an economic impact statement about jobs that might be lost with respect to the announcement today on the emissions cap?
Might ask my colleagues.
So the proposed emissions cap, I think, is going to be announced later today, according to the media aspect.
Just
So
asking if
we'll
you've done
let you-
an economic impact
You'd have
analysis.
to ask
So-
the Department of Environment and Climate Change.
Finance isn't interested
We are
in the
at
economic?
Work at
the end of
Department of
time
Natural
of
Resources.
this
Thank you, Mr.
round.
Chair.